What if I told you that the modern nation of Iran holds one of the most fascinating roles in biblical prophecy? While many know it today as a geopolitical hotspot, the Bible has been speaking about this ancient land for thousands of years. Not as Iran, but as Persia. In this episode, we trace the prophetic journey of Persia from Genesis to Revelation. A story that weaves through empires, captivates kings, and ultimately points to redemption. Let's step back into the pages of Scripture and discover the divine thread that ties Persia to God's plan for the world. Genesis, the roots of a nation. Long before Persia was an empire, its roots were planted in the genealogies of Genesis. The names Elam and Magi, descendants of Shem and Japheth, may not sound familiar to modern ears, but they are the ancestors of the Elamites and Medes, the early peoples of what would become Iran. These were not just names in a list. They represent the foundation of a region that would one day rise to global prominence. The first clash, Elam and the War of Kings. In one of the Bible's earliest battles, the kingdom of Elam steps onto the world stage. In Genesis, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, leads a coalition of kings to wage war in Canaan. They conquer and capture, including Lot, Abraham's nephew. But this moment isn't about Elam's power. It's about God's promise. Abraham, with just a few hundred men, defeats this coalition and rescues Lot. It's a foreshadowing. No matter how powerful the nations, God protects his covenant people. The prophets speak. Persia's rise foretold. Fast forward centuries. Babylon has risen, and with it, the exile of God's people. But through the prophets Isaiah and Jeremiah, God speaks of another empire yet to come, Persia. In a stunning prophecy, Isaiah names a future king, Cyrus. He is called God's anointed, chosen to conquer Babylon and set the Jewish exiles free. And it happens, exactly as foretold. Persia becomes the instrument of deliverance, not destruction. Daniel, dreams, beasts, and empires. The book of Daniel paints a dramatic picture of world history through visions and dreams. A towering statue, fierce beasts, a ram with two horns. In each vision, Persia stands tall, symbolized by silver, by a bear, and by the two-horned ram. It rises after Babylon, stronger and more expansive. The Medo-Persian Empire conquers lands far and wide until another power, Greece, takes the mantle. But while Persia reigns, it plays a crucial role, ensuring the survival and restoration of God's people. Esther, a queen, a risk, a nation saved. Set in the heart of the Persian Empire, the story of Esther unfolds in the capital city of Susa. A Jewish woman becomes queen. A plot is hatched to destroy her people. And once again, Persia becomes the setting for salvation. Esther risks everything to reveal the truth to the king. The result? The Jewish people are spared. Their enemies are defeated. And Persia, unexpectedly, becomes a protector, not a persecutor. The Magi, Persian sages, seek a Jewish king. Centuries later, another Persian connection emerges. Magi from the east appear in the Gospel of Matthew, searching for a newborn king. Who were these wise men? Many scholars believe they were from Persia, priests, astronomers, descendants of the intellectual traditions influenced by Daniel himself. They bring gifts, bow in worship, and confirm. Even Persia recognizes the arrival of the Messiah. Ezekiel's vision. Persia in the end. Times. The story doesn't end in the past. In Ezekiel 38, Persia is named as part of a future coalition of nations led by Gog. They march against Israel in a climactic war. But God intervenes. Earthquakes shake the ground, fire rains from the sky. Persia's alliance is shattered, and the world watches in awe as God defends his people. This isn't just a battle, it's a revelation, a moment when the nations know who truly reigns. A future hope. Restoration in the last days. Finally, In a lesser-known prophecy in Jeremiah 49, God speaks of Elam's future. Judgment comes, yes, but it's not the end. God promises, "In the latter days, I will restore the fortunes of Elam." Even after rebellion, even after war, there is hope, a promise of redemption, a future for Iran. Persia's prophetic journey, from Genesis to Revelation, Persia plays a complex, surprising role. Sometimes enemy, sometimes ally, always significant. Its story reminds us that nations rise and fall, but God's plan marches forward. And even in the most unexpected places, like ancient Persia, He is working to fulfill His promises. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want more deep dives into biblical history and prophecy. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep seeking truth.